Joining us from Memphis, Tennessee tonight is Nigeria's very own Sade Olatoye. She's a 2022 African champion in the women's hammer throw and competed at the Olympic Games that just concluded in Paris. Sade Olatoye, thank you so much for joining us tonight again on Game On.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Yay, nice to see you. So I have a full house, but before we go, you already know how we do this. I just need to ask you a question. Just how good is your Yoruba?
I can understand it just a little bit.
Okay,
just a little bit. Not
I'm just
fluent,
okay. So I'm hoping that if I say "Jengbe lole, mommy mi reti omo, marry me o Sade, baba mi reti omo," you understand that?
I'm embarrassed.
Yes, I understand.
I don't want. Look, as long as she understands what I'm saying, I don't care what you say.
I am embarrassed.
But thank you so much for joining us again, Sade. Looking absolutely radiant and no worse for wear. But the Paris Olympics have come and gone, and there is still a lot of reverberation around. And you actually went to social media and you said quite a lot. And if my producer can help me out, just put that on the screen. I think you were on social media. And just read this out. You said, "We have so much talent and we work immensely hard to get to the world stage and Olympic level. It is not an easy feat to make an Olympic team, but when the lack of funding, support, peace of mind are not involved for the athletes leading into major championships, it takes a toll on us emotionally, physically, and psychologically. If these things are not provided, how can you expect us to perform well and make finals and win medals, which we are all capable of? People who we compete against throughout the season are receiving such benefits, and when they go to these championships, the performances show. The constant uphill battle we face mentally at these championships by those who are supposed to take the best care of us does not help athletes' performances. We are blessed and honored every day to represent the green and white, but before judging a book by its cover, ask us how you can help and support us along our journeys." Now this is an indictment, if you ask me. This is heavy talk. And I know there is a lot, I can feel the emotion and deep passion behind this, but just explain your frame of mind and what exactly you were trying to say when you wrote this.
Yeah, so, our Paris 2024 outing, I know that a lot of fans and, us as athletes were disappointed with being able to go to the championships and, not perform our best. As we train alongside many of our training partners who compete for the US, for Canada, and seeing them do well, knowing that we are more than capable, but having such obstacles and, the support that we have from the people who are in charge of us, not necessarily take care of us, especially at the championships and even before the championships, that we train so long, every 4 years to make it to the Olympic Games. And when we get to these championships and we're not able to showcase the work that we put in, it's a bit frustrating. So I think that a lot of us and a lot of our teammates on Team Nigeria feel the same way. But yeah, I think that's just kind of where the frustration comes from, just seeing people that we train with, seeing their successes and knowing that we should be at that same level and performing even better at these championships.
Okay, Sade, I have to ask, what kind of support did you get from the Nigerian authorities going into the Olympic Games? And if you did get any, when did it come?
So pretty much every year, me and my teammates, everything is out of pocket. We pay for our own training, our coaches, medical, competitions. So everything is out of pocket. It's not until we get to the championship that we start hearing about potential grants. And, it's not, as I'm training for 4 years, being given the grant at the competition, which doesn't pay for 2% of what I pay out of my pocket for 4 years of training.
Wow.
Impedes what we do. Having training partners who compete for the US that are, the same tier as me, they receive at minimum $40,000 grants per year.
$40,000.
Yes, and for Canada, they have grants where they receive $2,000 to $3,000 per month, and having that money that comes into them, and for us as we come out of pocket, a lot of us have full-time jobs, have to do other things alongside of our training in order to support ourselves. It takes a toll on our physical abilities, of course, as we have to focus on multiple things, and mentally it's draining. Going to these championships, having other delegations have AC units and mattress toppers because they're worried about their athletes having the best recovery for them, and for us we don't really have the same thing and the same care, which could really affect our performances as well. So yeah, it's a bit frustrating, but I mean, even when we do want to give up, our coach, our national team's coach, Gabe Okwana, he always keeps telling us to keep pushing forward, and he always continues to tell us to just not give up, and he fights alongside of our battles. So hopefully things do change. But yeah.
Yeah, and talk about your performances. To be honest, you broke a lot of hearts at the Olympic Games because a lot of people actually believe that you were capable of getting into that medal zone. You finished with a 66.41 in your meters in your event. Cameron Rogers won with 76.97 meters. Annette Chikwoke, who you know very well, finished it with in second place with 75.48 meters. Ji Zhao, also of China, also finished with 74.27 meters. But I and quite a lot of people believe that you were well capable of reaching those particular, I say distances, but from what you said, it's understandable how and why this didn't happen for you. So, but just, I know the guys in the studio also dying to ask.
Oh, Shadi, good evening. I wanted to ask, you mentioned Annette Chikwoke, who still holds the national record, I believe, for Nigeria, despite winning silver for the Americans. I mean, you look at Annette and how she switched allegiance. Has it ever crossed your mind? And if it has, what has stopped you from, switching allegiance, and go do it for the United States, who have a much more structured project,
bigger
is
budgets,
much more organized. The budget is far bigger. I mean, why haven't you? If you have thought about that, what's stopping you? Have you not ever thought about switching allegiance?
I think that, I once before competed for the United States. I actually switched my allegiance to Nigeria. I wanted to represent my home country, make my parents proud. I think that throughout my journey and the time, I've spent representing Nigeria, I think that I'm very prideful in being able to represent, the home country and everything. But I think that every year as we continue to put the green, white, green on, and we don't really necessarily see the support, it does discourage us. I think that at the same time, we're still motivated to continue being better. So regardless of who we're representing, we just want to be able to reach the goals that we have set for ourselves. And I think that that's what really carries us as athletes. I do understand that the support that other federations are giving their athletes gets them to that level, and I just really hope and pray that Nigeria just changes for the sake of their athletes to be able to get us to the next level, because we're more than capable. I think that everyone who represented at the games was capable of making a final and bringing back a medal, but the circumstances of what we go through makes it a bit more difficult. So yeah.
Okay, I want to find out from you, Sade. You are an African champion, and at least I also remember in Birmingham you were also amongst the podium finishers. But then the Olympics is a bit on a higher level. What do you hope to do between now and 4 years when we will be going to the Los Angeles Olympics to ensure that you are also able to finish on the podium?
And just to add to that, what do you think the Nigerian authorities should be doing in terms of support for Nigerian athletes so that they can finish on the podium?
I think that starting with ensuring that those in charge of us are recognizing our needs as athletes going into the season. I don't think it's at the major championships that you guys should now talk about the support that we needed 4 years ago. I think that is integral for how we perform as athletes throughout the years. Next year, we don't have the only major championship that we have is World Championships in Tokyo. So there's no African Championships, all Africa Games. So we won't be receiving any funding next year, which that's going to be an issue for people who are trying to perform at the highest level. So I think that starting with the support and the funding before every season to ensure that we can be able to pay for our training, pay for our coaches, pay for our physiotherapists, our medical, each and every competition that we go to, I think that helps us in the long run, especially as we are thinking about 2028 in LA. I know that, each and every year as we build upon it is integral for the setup for the next Olympics. So I think that having that support from those in charge of us to get us to where we need to be on the medal stand in the final at the next Olympics is very integral. So.
Yeah, just before I let you go, Sade, I need to clarify. You're saying that U.S. athletes and Canadian athletes and athletes that you know and actually compete with, they will be getting grants on a regular, even now, up until the next Olympic Games, not months or a year before. From now up until 2028, that's what you're telling us.
Yes.
Wow, that's incredible. All I can say is thank you so much for joining us tonight, all the way from Memphis, Tennessee. Sade Olatoye, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Beauty, brain, bronze, and patriotism. They are just the perfect.
You wanted to be on the show every day.
I would.
Can we get on the show every day?
If you can light up the show every night, I wouldn't mind.
We can create a segment for her on the show.
The Sade Olatoye segment. It is possible.
Never been starstruck with a Nigerian athlete. Never.
But this is
the first time.
Oh, there you go.
You are not saying the truth.
There you
First
go.
time.
Because what you told me privately is different from what you are saying publicly.
Sade, see, just don't forget what I said to you at the start of the show. I really want you to think about that.
Don't embarrass yourself.
Thank you so much for
I hasn't said anything.
No.
I warned him not to say anything. I warned him not to say anything.
Struck as well.
But thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. We wish you all the very best in your career and going forward. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank
Cheers.
you.